Hello, dear friends. I hope you're doing well. I'm Mahdi Joinpour. In this video, we're going to explore several Elementor widgets together. We'll get to know what each one does, and we'll learn how to actually work with them. It's very important that you understand these widgets well, because once you do, you'll be able to use them confidently in your own projects. So follow along closely with this video. Keep a positive, focused mindset as we go. That way, we can work through everything together, step by step. If you're watching this on YouTube, please take a moment right now and subscribe. That way you'll catch every video we post after this one, especially the ones covering security. You'll also stay up to date on the SEO topics, the business topics, and the income topics as we work through each of them together. So go ahead and subscribe now before you move on to anything else. Also, make sure you join the 2 social networks linked down below this video. If you're on Instagram, follow me there so we can stay connected. And if you're on Telegram, go ahead and join both of the channels I've linked below. I post even more lessons and updates over there on Telegram, so you won't want to miss any of that. Let's go back to our browser now. Here's what we worked on in the last video, so let's clean that up first. I'll delete these, then we'll explore a few widgets together. By now, you should understand how containers work. I'll place a container here on the page, giving us somewhere to work. Now let's open the widgets panel and pick one out to use. You've already seen how the Flipbox widget works from an earlier lesson. Let's drag it into the container now and see what happens when we drop it in. The Flipbox widget lets us give it some information and data to work with so it can display content in an interesting way. This widget is also one of the many widgets that comes from the Pro Toolkit plugin. This Pro Toolkit plugin has features that add a whole bunch of extra widgets for you to use inside your designs. And these are important widgets for you to know, since you'll be using them often as you build out pages. Okay, now let's look at the first widget on screen. It's called the headline widget. This is actually an animation, not a static image. You can switch between different animation styles whenever you like. Look at the panel here. Watch closely as I click through and see what changes on screen. Okay, let's move on to the next style. This one is underline, and it draws a single line right underneath the text. Now let's look at double, which gives you 2 lines instead of just 1, exactly like this. This is a really nice element you can use when designing your website. Let's also add a flex box here and set the direction downward, so you can see how everything lines up together. The next widget we'll look at is the form widget, and you'll end up using it quite often. For example, on a Contact Us page, you'll definitely need to include a form. And here we can give it different designs and also different layouts. Then we come here and set what happens next. For example, when the form gets submitted, an email can go to the admin. You can also set your own email here instead. Okay, this is the form widget we're looking at. Let me delete this one too. So we've got the form widget and also the menu widget. We use that menu widget for the header. Take a quick look at what is showing on the screen right now. Keep this point in mind. We'll need it as we move through the next part. Take a quick look at what is showing on the screen right now. Let's look at the tabs widget, which allows us to create several tabs. Inside each tab, we can add different content. It can look great on the page, and it's definitely a useful tool for us to have. Let me delete this widget so I can move on and show you the next ones. We also have the text block widget, and if you want to add some written content to the page, this is the one you would use. Next comes the alert widget, which is sometimes called a message box. It works well when you want to highlight a short notice for visitors. After that, there's the grid widget. We use it to display our products and articles neatly arranged in a grid layout. Now let me come over here and actually start designing something using these widgets. Okay, I'll click on this container settings and set the direction to left to right, so everything inside flows that way. Then we'll go inside it, so we can start working with what's inside. I'll add another container, an inner one, right here. This one will be nested inside the first. Then I'll take that same container and use it again. I'll duplicate it, splitting the space evenly into 2 halves. One section will sit here, and the other will sit over there. Now I want to move over to the right side, and continue working there inside that second section. I'll add a few X elements now. Watch how each one drops right into place. Let's say 1X, where I pick my own photo. I'll place it right here on the page. Okay? Notice how the image corners can be rounded. If that's a look you like, Head over to the Style tab. Scroll down until you find the border radius setting. As you increase this value, watch the corners of the X. They'll start to round off, just like this. See how smoothly the corners curve now? Next, let's move over to the right section of the layout. I'll add a heading element there, and place it right here in this spot on the layout. I'll type in the title now, something like URL structure setup. This helps describe the page and tells search engines what it's about. Then I'll move to the next field. Now I go to the Style tab. I make the font bolder by setting the weight to 900. I also set the color to gray. That takes care of the heading element. Headings matter a lot, so take a moment to really look closely at these settings. There's another option here, inside the content section. It's asking which heading level you want to use for this element. For SEO purposes, each page should only ever have one heading 1, since that's your main H1. Beyond that first one, you can add as many other heading levels as your page actually needs, without any real limit. We can also add other headings here, like heading 2, and we'll use this style throughout each page. Why do we choose heading 2? Because each page usually has just one main title already, so a smaller heading works better for the rest of the content. Now I'll click the plus sign here to add a new block. We can use the text block element for this, and simply write some text to fill it in. I'll just copy this same text and paste it below. We won't type it live for the video just to save time. And you can see this text appears black by default. That's the standard color it starts with. Take a quick look at what is showing on the screen right now. There's a nice option to collapse and expand this section. You can actually turn that on if you want that feature. We don't need it right now though. Instead, I'll go to the Style section to handle that. We'll disable it if it has that option available to us. Look, here on the right side, we can turn it off so it doesn't show like this anymore. Okay, good, that's done. Then I can go below this section and add another button, so let's scroll down a bit. From here, I'll select the widget button and then place it right below the other one. So that's our widget button added. Now I can go to the Style section and change its color, just like this. You can see the preview updating right away as I click through the different color options. Once I find one I like, I'll leave it selected and move on to the next section. Now here, I'll go ahead and write it out like this. This is a design you can follow along with and create yourself, step by step. If you look over on lumowp.com, you'll see the widgets we used to build this. And this is the exact section we just built together right here on the screen. I'm walking through it slowly because I want you to get comfortable with each piece. I'm doing this to get you ready to start designing your own site with confidence. Now, let's take these left widgets and get them properly aligned. We'll clean up the spacing so everything lines up the way it should. Take a quick look at what is showing on the screen right now. Notice how they auto-center on the photo. Now select the main container. It holds our placed elements. From here, adjust the overall layout. I select Align Center so that everything on the page lines up evenly. Now for the main container, I go in again and pick a background color. Just like this, for example, I'll give it a background as well. Since we haven't built the header or footer sections yet, the system automatically places a placeholder logo here for us. This just fills the space so the layout still makes sense while those sections are missing. We'll go back and change these details later on, once the header and footer are actually built. For now, it's just a placeholder, so don't worry about it. And this right here is the section we've just built together. We put the image on the right side of the page, and we place these elements over on the left side. Now I want to add an animation to the image, so that it plays automatically the moment the page loads. To do that, I'll click on the image widget first, and then go over to the Advanced tab at the top. Inside there, you'll find a section called Motion Effects. Here I can simply turn that setting on. These animation options are turned off by default when you start. But if you look closely, you'll notice there's already an animation option sitting right here, ready for us to use. You can see it highlighted in the panel. I can set this to any style I like. Watch closely, because this is all one animation. Now I'll refresh the page. Right as it reloads, watch carefully. See this element animate onto the page, just like that. Let's move on and build another section. This time we'll use Flexbox, which makes the container itself flexible. The container is set to Flexbox. I'll set its direction to left to right. Now let's check what other widgets are available. A few more specialized ones are worth checking out. Let's scroll down and see them. Take a quick look at what's showing on screen right now. Don't worry about that now. I'll explain later. Here's our video widget ready to use. We can play a video straight from YouTube, or bring one in from an external link instead. Let me add a container first. Now I'll duplicate it so we have a second one ready. I'll drop the video widget inside, right here in this section. By default, it loads a sample YouTube video for us. You can see it playing right here on screen, but you can also use your own hosting instead. Either way, the widget stays flexible for any source. You place it right here in the self-host section. You can give your video a link here, or you can upload the video file directly instead. Both of those options will work just fine. For now, I'll just paste in a YouTube link so you can see how the video element actually behaves once it's added. The text element works a lot like the paragraph one we saw earlier. It just comes styled a little differently by default. Then there's a button element, and after that, a divider. You use the divider to separate different sections of your content. Honestly though, the divider isn't something people reach for very often. Spacer is also an old element you'll recognize quickly. Some elements even let you add a Google map right into your page. Their icons all sit together in the general section. These particular ones are Elementor Pro elements, which we don't have installed here. They come from a separate Pro plugin, which is a paid add-on you buy separately. You don't need Pro right now to follow along with this tutorial. Here, for example, the icon box element gets used a lot. It's especially handy for showing off site features. You can use it to list out those features one by one, each with its own icon. I'll place this element here, then write some text beneath it, like this, and here's some text too. Okay. Now if I copy this element, another one drops below it, stacking underneath the first one. Let's look at why that happens. It's because I can set the inner container to left to right. Once I do that, they sit side by side instead of stacking. That's the key change here. You can see the layout update right away on screen. Let's take a look at this element, for example. We can go ahead and delete its text entirely. Now let's delete this one's text as well. Let's take a look and see what we have. But notice, there's still some extra space left over on the right side. If I open up this container's settings, I can adjust it. I'll push it all the way to the max. That way, the spacing lines up nicely. Just like this. This is how I personally like to use it. There's also an option to use something else in its place if you'd rather do that instead. You could swap it out for another element entirely, depending on what your layout needs. So feel free to experiment with that option as well. We can use its grid model instead of this container. So let's delete the container now and watch what happens. See how it expands to full width right away? That's the layout shift I mentioned earlier. Remember I said container and grid actually work the same way? That's why this still holds together. I'll grab this element and drop it here, and then place it here as well. Now I'll open this section's settings panel and place it inside there. Then I'll delete it from that panel. Let me go ahead and delete the videos too, right here in this same section. If you use the widget grid, you can place a few elements inside it. Then duplicate that grid so you have two versions. Put them side by side so you can compare the layouts easily. The widget grid can do this for you instead of using a container. It handles spacing and alignment for you in much more detail. Just drop the elements in and use them like that, and the grid takes care of the rest. So what other widget could be useful here for building out your layout? Let me explain the Argaren widget next, and show you exactly how it works. Take a quick look at what is showing on the screen right now. Vertical tabs can also be useful when you want to organize content that way. Image box works the same as icon box. Up to here, you can choose your own icons instead of the default ones. Your icons might be custom-made, so you have that flexibility. This is Image Carousel, which shows several images together as a slideshow, cycling through them automatically. There's also Gallery for displaying a set of images. Icon List is useful for showing certain items in a list format. And Progress Bar works well for things like charts, showing visual progress or completion levels. To show how your project is progressing, just copy this widget as many times as you need, and change the color for each one. Watch how easily I can update it here. This option controls the text color right here, and just below it, you'll find the chart color option. Go ahead and adjust both, and see how the widget responds. You have a variety of stats widgets to choose from. How you use them really depends on you and on how much time you spend practicing with them. This icon relates to the message box. It has different modes for showing different kinds of messages to your visitors so you can match the tone to what you're trying to say. Now go ahead and work with these widgets yourself, and take the time to get familiar with them. Each one comes with plenty of style settings you can adjust. You'll also find advanced settings that give you even more control over how things look and behave. We'll do more with these widgets later on. Join us in the next videos to keep learning. I wish you the best. Goodbye.